In previous session, we have discussed about the moment of resistance of rectangular section. Okay. So for rectangular section, what will be the moment of resistance? So that equation we have discussed. And in this session, we will discuss how to find out the moment of resistance for flange section. It may be T section or it may be I section. Okay. Now, if the section it is say T section is there, then how to find out the moment of resistance? Now, if the depth of neutral axis, now this XU, it is nothing but the depth of neutral axis. So this depth of neutral axis, if it is greater than depth of the flange, okay, means this XU, it is greater than this DF, depth of the flange, or we can say thickness of this flange. In that case, how to get the moment of resistance? And generally for the flange section, means for T section and I section, the depth of neutral axis, it is generally greater than the thickness of this flange. So this is the case. So in that case, so moment of resistance, it will be due to this flange section as well as this particular web portion. So in that case, the moment of resistance, it will be given by rectangular section plus moment of resistance due to the web portion. So in a rectangular section, so this was the case in rectangular section. This was the case for the moment of resistance. So in that case, we have discussed FPU into APW into D minus 0.42 XU. Okay, so this is the moment of resistance for the rectangular section. Now for the flange section, it will be the combination. It will be the combination of this particular force. Okay, this particular force into this lever arm, this perpendicular distance. What we want the moment of resistance. आपल्याला moment of resistance find out करायचा आहे. So it should be force into the perpendicular distance. Now this is the force, and this is the perpendicular distance. Now this perpendicular distance will be total depth D minus 0.42 XU plus then again this force into the perpendicular distance, or we can say lever arm, it will be D minus 0.5 DF. Okay, so the combination of these two, we will get the moment of resistance. So in case of rectangular section, this only diagram you have to consider, and for the flange section, the combination of both we have to consider. Now we will see the formula. Now this is the formula for the moment of resistance. काय आहे formula बघा. Now when the ultimate moment of resistance of a flange section in which neutral axis falls outside the flange. So neutral axis falls outside the flange means XU, depth of neutral axis, it is greater than thickness of the flange. This is the condition. Depth of neutral axis, it is greater than thickness of the flange. XU is greater than DF. Okay. Now this particular case, the moment of resistance can be calculated using this particular equation, and that equation will be FPU into APW into the perpendicular distance D minus 0.42 XU. Now this is the lever arm, we can say small z, lever arm. Okay, then due to that small wave portion, it will be 0.45 FCK in bracket B minus BW. Okay, so where B it is the width of the flange and BW is the width of the web portion into DF in bracket D minus 0.5 DF. Okay, this is the force into this is the perpendicular distance, or we can say this is the lever arm. Now this is the equation we have to use to get the moment of resistance. Now this is the equation. This equation we have to remember when we have to find out the moment of resistance in case of flange section, and this is the equation we have to remember. If that section, it is the rectangular section, this much equation is sufficient for the rectangular section. And if it is the flange section, the total equation we have to remember. Okay, so this is for moment of resistance. Now based on this concept, simple MCQ will be asked. So what is the equation of moment of resistance for a pre-stress post tension beam having cross section as B into D, rectangular cross section, what will be the moment of resistance, or the flange section, what will be the moment of resistance. Okay, or else they will mention the section is flange section. Okay, what is the question? If the section is flange section, suppose T section, and XU is less than thickness of the flange. XU means depth of neutral axis. If it is less than the thickness of the flange, in that case also this equation we have to use. Means if XU is less than DF, depth of the flange, in that case also we have to use the equation as that of the rectangular section. When XU is less than DF, only this much equation we have to use. So whenever XU is greater than DF, you have to use this both the combinations or the summation of the both the equations. Okay. So where the terminology is APW, it is nothing but the area of pre-stressing steel for the web. Now this area, A it is for area, P it is for pre-stressing, and this small w it is for the web portion. Okay, small w it is for the web portion. Similarly, APF, now that F it is for the flange section. Okay, area of pre-stressing steel provided in the flange portion, as well as area of pre-stressing steel provided in the web portion. So that respective area we have to calculate. Then, so this DF it is nothing but the depth of the flange or thickness of the flange, and the total pre-stressing steel, it is area of web plus area of flange. Okay, area of the web portion, suppose this is the T section. So for T section we are having two portions. For T sections we are having two portion. One is the web portion, second is the web portion. Okay, one is the flange portion, sorry, this is the flange and this is the web, Now total pre-stressing steel area, it will be the summation of area of pre-stressing of web plus area of pre-stressing of flange. So that summation will give us the total pre-stressing steel in that particular section. Now this is the formula, for the area of pre-stressing in a flange, So that will be 0.45 FCK in bracket B minus BW into DF by PF. Now this is the initial pre-stress, PF. Okay, and the effective reinforcement ratio from the table number 11, it will be going to remain the same. So again here for the reinforcement ratio, we have to refer this table number 11. So for table number 11, so APW into PF divided by BW into D into FCK. So this ratio, it is nothing but the effective reinforcement ratio. Now we will see one example. Okay, we will see one example. We have seen the formula. Again, we will see that particular formula. We have seen the formula for moment of resistance for a flange section. काय study केला आपण? Formula for moment of resistance for the flange section. When the depth of neutral axis is greater than thickness of flange. Depth of neutral axis, it is greater than thickness of flange. So that is the case. So it will be summation of moment of resistance of rectangular section plus moment of resistance due to the web portion. So that summation we want. Okay, and these are the various terms we have discussed. APW, it is the area of pre-stressing steel in a web portion. Okay, this is the formula we have to remember. Now we will see one example. Now in this example, pre-tension T section has flange of, so they have given the flange of width, means this will be small b, 1200 mm, and the thickness they have given, thickness of flange, DF is given 150. Then the width and depth of the rib are 300 mm and 1500 mm respectively. High tensile steel has an area of 4700 mm square and is located at effective depth of 1600 mm. If FCK is M40 and strength of steel is 1600 MPa, calculate flexural strength of T section. Now this flexural strength, it is nothing but the moment of resistance. It is nothing but the moment of resistance. Now these are the parameters given. Total pre-stressing area is given, FCK is given, M48 is the FCK, it is given. Okay. They have given the geometry of the section also. They have given the geometry of section also. Now, so from the geometry, so what we know, so as this is the flange section, T section is given. So for that T section, for flange section, they have mentioned the width, that is 1200 mm. Then they have mentioned the thickness of flange. So that flange thickness, it is 150. Then for rib, okay, then for this particular rib, they have mentioned. So for web rib, so this width, this is 300, and the depth, it is 1500. So this much T section they have given. Now we have to find out all the respective terms that we require in that equation. So this is the area of pre-stressing steel in the flange. This is the area. Now here FCK is given, B is 1200 given. Then this BW, it is the width of web, it is also given 300. Depth of flange is given. Then pre-stressing high tensile steel, they have mentioned that it's 1600 MPa. So putting all these respective value, so we will get the area of pre-stressing steel in a flange. Now this is the area of pre-stressing steel in a flange. Now if we have to find out, area of the web portion. Now if you see the formula, we require the area of pre-stress in a web, as well as we required area of pre-stress in a flange. Now using this formula, we have got the area of pre-stress in a flange. We know the total area of pre-stress. So the total area is given. Total area किती दिला है? 4700 mm square दिला है. Then, so using that formula for that reinforcement ratio, we want area of pre-stress of the web. Area of pre-stress of the web, we have to find out. So how to find out? We know that total area of pre-stress, it is equal to area of pre-stress in a web plus area of pre-stress in a flange. Okay. Now this total area is given. Area of flange we have calculated. So from this equation, we have to find out this area of web. So area of pre-stress in a web portion, it is equal to total pre-stressing area minus area of pre-stressing for a flange. Okay. So total area 4700, it is given. Area of flange we have calculated 1518. So from this we get area of pre-stressing steel in a web portion as 3182 mm square. Okay, this is for the web portion. Now once you get the area of pre-stressing steel in a web portion, now we can work out for the reinforcement ratio. Now tell me, for pre-tensioning section or for pre-tensioning, minimum reinforcement ratio is, so this is the reinforcement ratio. So what is the minimum value and what is the maximum value? सांगता येईल का? बघा मिनिमम किती आणि मॅक्झिमम किती आहे व्हॅल्यू. लास्ट लेक्चर मध्ये आपण डिस्कस केले होते. मिनिमम किती आहे त्याची? सो ॲज पर द टेबल नंबर 11, as per the table number 11, minimum value is 0.25 and the maximum value it is 0.4. Okay, minimum it is 0.25 and the maximum it is 0.4. Okay, now putting all the corresponding values in that reinforcement ratio, area of pre-stressing steel in a web portion, then high tensile steel stress is given, then width of the web portion, depth D, then grade of that concrete. So we will get the reinforcement ratio as 0.265. Okay. Then from table number 11, we know the range of that stress, and from that table number 11 it is 1. So from this we will get PFPU. Okay, what we will get? We will get the FPU. So after rearranging this term, so what we will get this as a 1392 mm square. Okay. And again from the table number 11, for this respective value, we will get the depth of the neutral axis with respect to the reinforcement ratio. With respect to the reinforcement ratio of that 0.265 from table number 11. So from that table, we get depth of neutral axis as 0.56. Now, D is known to us, that is 1600. So from this, we will get the XU. Now this XU, it is greater than the XU, it is greater than the DF. Okay. As it is greater than this DF, you have to use that fractional strength formula or the moment of resistance formula, which will be the combination of two different equations that we have discussed. So this is valid when XU is greater than DF, and this is the case because DF we are having as 150 mm. So 896, it is greater than 150. Means it indicates that neutral axis lies outside the flange. Neutral axis falls outside the flange. So using this particular equation to find out the moment of resistance. So this equation we have to use to find out the moment of resistance. And that moment of resistance, if you see, for that moment of resistance, we have to put all the corresponding values. So FPU we have calculated from that stress range from the table number 11, and this is 1392. Then area of pre-stressing steel in the web, we have calculated 3182. Then D is 1600. XU we have calculated. So putting all the corresponding values of FCK, B, then width of the web portion, thickness of the flange, effective depth. Okay. So putting all the corresponding values, so we get the fractional strength, or we can say moment of resistance, as 9125 kilonewton meter. Okay, so this is the moment of resistance for the flange section. Now for your online examination, now they will not going to give the numerical, they will not going to give the T section, and we have to find out the moment of resistance. So possibilities are, okay, so first possibility, they will ask about the formula for the rectangular section, moment of resistance for the rectangular section, that is the first point. Okay, moment of resistance for the rectangular section. Then second case, moment of resistance for the flange section when XU, it is greater than depth of the flange or thickness of the flange. So this particular equation. Then they may ask the questions from the reinforcement ratio. So what is the reinforcement ratio? So that A into F into B, FCK into D. So that ratio, table number 11, they may ask what is the range of that reinforcement ratio, what is the minimum limit or minimum value, and what is the maximum value. Okay. So likewise, conceptual questions they will ask. They will not going to ask this is the numerical, and you have to solve the numerical, and you have to find out this particular value, because this is the time consuming, or this calculation requires a lot of time. Okay. So for online examination, they will ask the in-between step. They will not going to give the numerical, they will give the T section, and they will ask what is the moment of resistance, and 4 different options. This is option 1, 2. No, they will ask the basic concept, standard values. Okay, so that's why read all the clauses in IS 1343 2012. So read all the clauses very clear. Make the notes, read all the clauses. That is very much important for all the examination point of view. So this is for the moment of resistance for T section, that is flange section, as well as for the rectangular section. So up till now, what we have discussed? We have discussed about the moment of resistance. We have discussed for the rectangular section as well as the flange section. We have discussed the various formulas. Now, next we will see the shear strength or the shear resistance of the PSC member. Up till now, what we have discussed about the moment of resistance. So that moment of resistance, it is nothing but the flexural strength. Okay, moment of resistance, it deals with flexural strength determination. Now we will see how to give, or we will study the shear resistance of PSC member. Now we know that shear stress, it is developed in the section. It is accompanied by the axial stress as well as vertical pre-stressing in transverse direction. Means for a section in pre-stressing member, shear stress will be developed, and that shear stress, it will be due to direct stress. Okay, direct stress accompanied by the vertical pre-stressing in a transverse direction. Vertical pre-stressing in a transverse direction means these are the normal stresses. These are the normal stresses accompanied by the vertical pre-stressing in transverse direction. So at certain critical section, we will get the complex stress. Okay, at certain critical section, we will get the complex stress. So that's why this shear resistance we have to study. So shear forces result in shear stresses, that we know. So what is shear stress? Shear force divided by the cross-sectional area. Shear force divided by the cross-sectional area, that is nothing but the shear stress that we have studied in the SOM also. So such stress can result in principal tensile stresses. Now whenever there is a shear stress developed, and shear stress will be developed due to shear force divided by cross-sectional area. Shear force divided by the cross-sectional area. Okay, and these shear forces will cause the principal stresses at certain critical section. Now see here, this is the particular section. Now normal and transverse pre-stressing stresses or forces will be developed. Accompanied to that particular direct stresses, the shear stresses are also present. Now this is the combination, means normal stresses in two mutually perpendicular direction. So what is this case? Normal stresses in two mutually perpendicular directions accompanied by the shear stress. That is, sigma x will be there, sigma y will be there, plus tau will be there. Shear stress, tau will be there. Now this results to study the principal stresses, or this is called as the study of complex stresses. Okay, study of complex stresses. Now, how this study already we have done in the principal stresses in the SOM. Now, at certain critical section, so we have to check. So all the stresses present, it will be within the permissible limit. Okay, so for that case, again there is a clause of in IS code 23.4, page number 32. So this clause will give us the knowledge of PSC member about shear resistance of PSC. Okay, this particular clause, it deals with the shear resistance of that pre-stress member. Okay, now as per the clause, there are two sections they have given. First, it is the cracked section they have given, and the second, it is for the uncracked section. Due to the load, first will be the cracked section, this will be uncracked section. Now first, 23.4.1, this is for the uncracked in the flexure. So due to the flexural loading, this will remain uncracked. So in this particular case, or in this particular section, ultimate shear resistance of the section which remains uncracked in the flexure, it is called as VC, or we can say V critical. Okay, and it is given by this particular formula. So V suffix C, it is equal to 0.67 BD in bracket FT square plus 0.8 FCP into FT. Now this is the combination. Of the principal stresses. Okay, this is the combination for the principal stresses. This is the particular formula. Now in this formula, so what are the different terms? B is the term, and that will be width of the member. It may be for T and L. Okay. Then D is the overall depth of the member. Now the small b, it is the width of the member. it will be the width of the member. And it is for T and L beam should be replaced by the width of rib, that is BW. It should be replaced by the width of the web. Width of the web means in case of the T section, I section and L section, so this B, it is equal to BW, width of the web. D, it is the overall depth that we know. Then what is this FT? It is the maximum principal tensile stress. Okay, FT, it is the maximum principal tensile stress. And the limit they have given, permissible value they have given, it is as 0.34 root of FCK, and taken as positive where FCK, it is the character compressive strength of the concrete, that we know. FCK, it is the character compressive strength of concrete. Okay, now this is the value, maximum principal tensile stress. So for your online exam, what they will ask, the maximum principal tensile stress in uncracked section is 0.24 root of FCK, 0.34 root of FCK, 0.44 root of FCK. So this we have to remember. Okay, this we have to remember. So this is the maximum principal tensile stress. Then next term in that formula, it is FCP. It is the compressive stress at centroidal axis due to pre-stress taken. Okay, compressive stress at centroidal axis due to pre-stress taken as positive. So for that particular section, we have to find, we have to look at the centroidal axis. We have to look at the centroidal axis means we have to look at the centroid. And how to look at the centroid? X bar जर find out करायचा असेल किंवा Y bar जर find out करायचा असेल, so that will be summation of A into Y divided by summation of A. So that is the location of centroid. So for that, at that centroidal axis, due to the pre-stress, we have to find out the compressive stress. We have to find out the compressive stress, that is FCP. So for a section as an uncracked in flexure with inclined tendons or vertical pre-stress. Okay, for a section uncracked in flexure or uncracked in moment of resistance with inclined tendon or vertical pre-stress, the component of pre-stressing force, normal to the longitudinal axis of member may be added to V. Okay, so what this particular indicates, for a uncracked section in flexure, if there are inclined tendons, at certain degree for vertical pre-stress, component of pre-stressing force normal to the longitudinal axis. So we have to add to that particular critical shear strength of that member. Okay, if the tendons are inclined, then that component we have to add to the longitudinal axis of that particular member. Means using that formula, we have to add the component of the pre-stressing force which is inclined. Means horizontal component we have to add to this V. Okay, that is the significance. So this is for the uncracked section. Then the second clause, it is for the cracked section in flexure. Now the ultimate shear resistance of the section which is cracked in flexure, again it is denoted by V critical and given by this particular formula, 1 minus 0.55 FPE by FP into xi C BD plus M naught into V by M. Now these are all the formula we have to write, we have to remember, and each and every term we have to understood. Now here, so this V critical or the ultimate shear resistance should be taken as not less than 0.1 BD root of FCK. So what is the clause in first? In uncracked section we have discussed about the FT. What is the formula? Maximum principal tensile stress, it is limited to 0.24 root FCK. And here for a cracked section, in flexure, the critical shear resistance Okay, critical shear resistance should not be less than 0.1 BD root of FCK. So this is the clause which is IMP with respect to your MCQ point of view. Okay, and all each and every term you have to understand. So now we will see. So what are the different terms? Now here, M naught, it is the moment necessary to produce zero stress in a concrete at a depth, which is given by, so this is the equation. This is the equation for that M naught, moment necessary to produce zero stress. So we have to produce the moment, or we have to locate the location of tendon such that it will produce zero stress. It will produce the zero stress, and that will be 0.8 FPT into I by Y, where I it is the moment of resistance, I it is the moment of inertia, I it is the moment of inertia, and Y it is the centroid. Okay, maximum centroid, or we can say Y max. So where FPT, it is the stress at bottom fiber due to the pre-stressing force P only. So this FPT, it is the stress at bottom fiber due to pre-stressing force. So at bottom, we know that stress will be due to the direct loading and eccentric loading. So as we are going to provide the tendons having certain eccentricity, so it will be P by A plus M by Z. So where M, it is the moment, and that moment, it is nothing but the pre-stressing force into the eccentricity. So as we have to find out this stress at bottom, so Z also we have to find out at bottom. Okay. Section modulus at bottom, it will be, what is section modulus? It is given by I by Y. So at bottom, you have to find out the section modulus. So moment of inertia, it will be same, but the centroid we have to consider, that is YB, that is centroid from the bottom. So from this, we will get the stress at bottom, P by A plus M by Z. So where M, it is the P into P. Okay. Now the calculation of V M naught meet at critical section. So where we have to find out these all the V, then movement where stress is zero. So V M naught, we have to find out this all meet at a critical section at a distance D from the face of support. Okay, suppose this is the support for a section, this is the support for a section. So all these parameters, it will meet where there is a critical section, and that critical section location, that is D from the face of support, small d from the face of support. Okay. So these are the two formulas for the shear resistance. First, it is for the uncracked section. Second, it is for the cracked section, and all the basic terminology corresponding to that particular section, shear resistance. Now, if you have to design the shear reinforcement, in case of RCC, how we are designing the shear? Reinforcement. So what is the form of shear reinforcement? In which form we are providing the shear reinforcement? सांगता येईल आरसीसी मध्ये काय केलं होतं आपण? शेअर एन्फोर्समेंट कशी प्रोव्हाइड केली होती? कोणत्या फॉर्म मध्ये प्रोव्हाइड केली होती? So for shear reinforcement, we have provided the stirrups. For shear reinforcement, we have provided the stirrups. So in next session, we will discuss about the design of shear reinforcement. Okay. So for shear reinforcement also, the design will be same as that of the RCC. So there are certain cases. Now, when the shear force developed, it is less than 0.5 VC. Okay, shear force developed, if it is less than 0.5 critical shear resistance, it is less than 0.5 critical shear resistance, then there will be no need of shear reinforcement. Okay, now this VC we have to find out from that clauses, crack and uncracked section. Okay, 23.4, 0.1 and 0.2. point 1 and point 2. So from that two clauses, we have to find out the shear resistance or the critical shear resistance. Now, if the shear force developed, if it is less than, if it is less than zero point 0.5 of VC, suppose if this V it is 3 and if this VC it is 10. Okay, if it is 10, so 0.5 of 10 it is 5. Okay, this is 5 kilonewton and this V will be 3. Suppose this is 3, so 3 is less than 5. So in that particular case, there will be no any need of shear reinforcement. And if the shear force developed, if it is less than the critical shear resistance, in that case we have to provide the nominal shear reinforcement. So when to provide the nominal shear reinforcement? When V is less than VC and when V is less than 0.5 VC, half of that VC, okay, or VC by 2, then no need of shear reinforcement, the formula, the clause will going to remain the same. Now, whenever we have to provide the nominal shear reinforcement, we have to refer this particular clause as per the shear reinforcement clause. And what is that clause? So for nominal shear reinforcement, we have to use 8 mm diameter bars, and the spacing of that nominal shear reinforcement, it is given by this particular formula, which is same as you have studied in SD2. Same. Okay. So this is the spacing, and that will be 0.85 Fy into area of the shear reinforcement divided by 0.4 B. So this is the spacing. Fy is the yield stress of that particular steel. This is the total area of that shear reinforcement, and B, in case of the flange section, in case of rectangular section, you know what is B and what is D. In case of the flange section, this B, it will be replaced by the width of the web. It may be I section, it may be T section, or it may be L section. So for that flange section, B will be BW, width of the web. Okay. Now in next session, we will discuss one numerical on the shear reinforcement, how to provide the shear reinforcement, how to design the shear reinforcement. Okay. And after that, we will discuss about the design of slab, one-way slab and two-way slab. So I need 3 sessions to complete this unit number 2. So what we will do in next session, we will discuss about the shear. Then next session, we will discuss about the slab. So for slab, I need 2 to 3 sessions. Then after that, we will discuss about the MCQ. So 4 to 5 sessions I need. So next week, we'll try to complete this unit number. Okay, thank you. So all the corresponding course material, MCQs, PPTs, notes already uploaded on the Moodle. So you can visit to the Moodle, you can log into the Moodle and click on the unit number 1. You will get all the corresponding